minority
Okay,
community.
well,
That's the affirmative action.
tarring Corbyn as a communist? Is that liberal? Or putting a Russian hat on him? Like,
well, he wore that. I mean, that wasn't.
Well, putting
they said
him
they didn't
behind
like the backdrop.
Yeah, the backdrop. Yeah.
I mean, people around him have said they're Marxist. John McDonnell does call himself a Marxist. I think that
if the BBC were liberal, they would, they would be for that, wouldn't they?
Content over everything.
But no, they have a political editor called Laura Kuenssberg, who's a Tory. She's very pro-Tory on her reports and very anti-Labour.
But it's literally, it's probably her and Andrew Neil. I can't think of anybody else. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, the rest of them, Andrew Marr, the rest of them are all.
Okay, so those three of them aren't leftists, but the rest of them are.
No, I'm saying the institution itself. Remember when was it Greg Dyke? He came in. He said it was hideously white. Made that comment about the BBC. The Director General, whatever he's called, said the BBC is hideously white. I mean, what kind of comment? If I went into a black church and said this church is hideously black, you know? Well, he was the leader of the BBC.
It's got to be fair and democratic.
Supposed to be.
Because it's taking taxpayers' money.
Supposed to be, yeah.
Trouble because they haven't been doing that. If you want to have a more balanced view, you wouldn't watch BBC News. You go and watch Channel 4 News, and you get a far better balance there.
Channel 4 is extremely left-wing, though. But again, I haven't got a problem with that because I mean it does get public money. I don't think it should. But
it's not extremely. It's just
but
more
left-wing. You've got to have something to counteract the rest.
So you think most of the media is right-wing? You would say?
Yeah, of course it is. Look who owns the media. Let's scrap. Don't talk about BBC because that's owned by us. But the rest of the media is owned by billionaires. And you're telling me that they're left-wing? These billionaires.
What media are you talking about? I mean,
Rupert Murdoch,
MSNBC, CNN. I don't know. I mean, you've got Fox News and the Daily Mail that are right wing.
Daily Mail's the most read newspaper. Yeah, they're all right wing. The only left wing paper I know of is maybe the Mirror and the Independent,
yeah.
Guardian, and even the Guardian after the Snowden affair, they've marched to the right. They're very pro-war these days, and they've been tough. They do, but they're not as left-wing as they were when they were reporting on Snowden. And when they were getting and standing up to the government with Alan Rusberger and getting the
their sales, I think.
Yeah. I stopped reading the Guardian as soon as I noticed their lurch to the right.
Well, I just read it online for free. I don't pay for it.
Well, yeah, I don't pay for the paper. I just read it. I used to read a lot online, but now I never go there unless
Well, I just read it because it's one of the few that isn't behind a paywall now. And it's hard to bypass the paywalls. They're becoming smarter and smarter.
Yeah, I was trying to read one on the Telegraph today.
Can't read the Telegraph, can't read the Times, can't read the New York Times, Washington Post. They're all paywall, ridiculous. But then again, they can't make ends meet either. So.
But this is the thing. When you start labelling big organisations as left wing.
No, I think it absolutely is left leaning. I can't believe you say the BBC was right wing.
It's political editors. The way it talks about politics is very pro-Tory, very pro-war. You'll never hear the BBC saying anti-war things.
Oh, I don't want to get into this.
It's very right-wing, but it's also liberal in its social.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So economically, it's right-wing.
I think in terms of war, the people that want to go and bomb these other countries, there doesn't seem to be they don't all come from one group in the UK. There are people who are socially liberal, the people who are socially quite conservative, who all agree we should go and take out Libya, we should go and take out Syria. There seems to be a consensus among the political parts.
And that's because old Labour, or New Labour, before Jeremy Corbyn, was a centre-right party. And Labour has finally taken them from centre-right and moved them to the left. So now, I didn't used to vote because there was no left-wing.
How old are you, if I can ask?
I'm 33. I voted maybe 4 or 5 times in my life, including council elections. I think I voted in the last 3.
And now you're enthused about the way Labour is. That it's
Because
got
there's,
you to-
because
it
there's
motivates
so
you to get
because
involved.
there's something. So I'd say Labour at the moment is probably a little bit more left than I am, but or maybe not. Maybe I'm a little
When
bit
you
more
say
left.
Labour, do you mean Jeremy Corbyn or do you mean his MPs? Because the MPs are completely...
Yeah. So they've got the
New
old,
Labour.
the new Labour MPs still want to be completely pro-business, and they're just Tories in disguise in my eyes. Like they're so close together, the Tories and New Labour. It doesn't make any sense voting between them.
When you say pro-business, though, I mean, we were talking about taxes.
Pro-big business.
Right. So we moved our business to Puerto Rico, and my partner, who's an American, there's something called Act 20. And if he lives there 6 months out of the year, we can pay only 4% tax. The reason we did that, if he stayed in America, we'd have been paying 35% corporation tax, and then a bunch of other taxes would have taken it to about 40-odd%. And we said, no, that's just too much. But here's the thing. We were discussing it before we decided to do this, and he said, yeah, if the taxes was maybe 10 or 50%, we'd probably have stayed in America and paid it. But we said, no, this is just ridiculous. We're not giving 2/5 of our business away. Actually, the American government would have got something. It would have got a decent amount of money. Now it gets nothing. So when you say pro-business, putting the corporation tax down, that could be seen as a pro-business act, because you would have been collecting money.
So
the American government would have been getting that money for the schools, the hospitals, the roads, and whatnot.
When you reduce corporation tax, it doesn't incentivize people to invest in their business. If you increase, because when you increase the corporation tax, that means more of the profits go in taxes. So to circumvent that, you invest that money into the business, growing it to save on the taxes that you save, creating more jobs and creating more wealth for the country, who then pay. So then the country gets more tax from the wages that is paid to its employers. When the taxes are low, it doesn't incentivize that. So you get into this circle of
you don't think businesses naturally reinvest as much as possible? Because I mean, we do personally. We're not living it big. We're not driving Lamborghinis or anything. We take every opportunity we can to expand business, to get more employees, to buy more products, to launch more products. Maybe that's not typical. But if you look at France, when the last president was in, they tried like a really high level of upper level tax, and apparently after a couple of years, it completely failed. They didn't raise any extra money, and they had to put it back down because the amount of people that were sending the money offshore just counteracted the extra money that was being paid in. It didn't lead to any extra revenue. And you see the state France is in today, same national debt that we have, same...
But America did reduce its taxes, corporation tax, when Trump came in, and their debt's still increasing.
I think they're going to. I don't know if they actually did or not. I think
no, they definitely did.
Possibly.
I mean, I don't think they did it by a massive amount.
I think it's just come through, or it's about to come through. So we'll have to see what the effects can be.
No, I'm pretty sure they did it.
I mean, it was the last budget, so I'll have to go back and look. I think it's too soon to say you would have felt any effects of it.
I watch a guy called Carl Kolinsky on Secular Talk.
Oh, yeah, I know that channel.
And he's definitely reported on it, saying that the debt has increased.
I'll go home and look for that video, because I know that channel. No, I know the debt's increased. I'm saying I wonder if whatever he cut, if it's been implemented, if it's had long enough to actually feel any kind of effect. In our case, if you told us, yeah, you can pay 10 or 15%, we wouldn't have bothered.
What is your company?
We sell products on Amazon. We sell dietary supplements.
So you can do that from anywhere.
Yeah.
But like, that's a privilege.
We have like physical employees and we have virtual employees.
Yeah.
We had a warehouse for about a year. We had a warehouse in Illinois. Guess what? The taxes there are so high. You've got state taxes, local taxes. Too high. We said it's not worth it. So many businesses are actually leaving Illinois. The population is decreasing because of the tax situation, and they've got a black hole. That state's going to go bankrupt. The way Greece went bankrupt. Illinois. Do
you mind telling me how much your business is worth?
I'm not on camera, no. But yeah, we are. Yeah.
Content over everything. from love you
Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
But you can't get. No. They're gonna do your thing. Yeah. Oh, are we in the way?
No. You're not. I was just asking if you're doing something.
You gonna take the camera, yeah? Yeah, go and do your thing.
So basically, Riza, cale.